from its sun-soaked shores to its rugged peaks. Sicily is a dream. For thousands of years, people have been drawn to this Mediterranean isle.
Buongiorno.
Sicily, paradis terrestre. Mare, sole, mangiare, tutto bello, tutto buono.
Very good. It's hard to imagine here in the heart of the capital, Palermo, but there are actually parts of Sicily that are now desperate to attract people.
Italy has the oldest population in Europe. In the last decade, it's fallen by over 1 million people. And in the next decade, they're expecting the same again. Sicily's iconic hilltop towns are feeling the pinch.
Sono delle viuzze che magari ai tempi passati erano ben popolate. Adesso non c'è più nessuno.
But the locals have a plan they hope is irresistible: selling abandoned houses for just €1.
C'è stato il boom, secondo me, ancora più grande di quanto tutti si aspettavano.
Oh, that is beautiful.
It's not just about renovating houses. It's a grand social experiment to try to breathe new life into these old towns.
People are coming from all over the world to snap up these cheap houses. But what's life like after you've signed on the dotted line? Can the foreigners make a home for themselves here? And what do the locals think of their new neighbours? There's a rebirth happening, but is it enough to rescue these towns?
I'm in Mussomeli and it feels like I've stepped back in time. This procession is as old as the streets it's winding down. The people are marking All Saints' Day with a march to the cemetery.
Ave Maria, piena di grazia, il Signore è con te.
Perched on a hill in the middle of the Sicilian hinterland, there's a timeless charm to this place. But some fear the town could be on its own slow march to the grave. Across Italy, deaths far outstrip births, and people are moving overseas to find work. There used to be over 15,000 people living here in Mussomeli. Now there are just 10,000, and a lot of empty houses.
Fratelli e sorelle carissimi, ci troviamo qui come ogni anno a onorare i nostri cari defunti.
Down here, it is just so clear that tradition and family runs deep in the town of Mussomeli. There are generations of people buried here and their families are coming today to pay respect to them. The concern for the town is making sure that there are more generations in the future to keep carrying on these traditions.
This is Mussomeli's Deputy Mayor, Totti Negrelli. The 37-year-old father of two was born and bred here. He thinks the €1 house program is the key to fixing the town's problem.
This is one of our €1 houses, and this is on the market also.
What? So I could buy this one for €1?
€1, yeah.
€1 is very cheap. What's the catch?
Catch is you are obliged to renew the house in 2-3 years.
If you don't start renovating work in 3 years, you give the house back?
No, but you have to pay 5,000 penalty to the municipality of Mussomeli. Only this.
Yeah, so you've just got to get work started in time.
Yeah.
Well, shall we have a look?
Yeah, go.
Towns all over Italy have been doing this for years, and it's made international headlines. Mussomeli started its program 6 years ago to try to revitalise the town.
You want to come first?
Sure. So fixing the door might be the first step.
Okay.
This one.
This is the first floor.
Looks like this one's got a bit of water damage up here.
Yeah, this house needs some work, obviously.
This place needs a new roof, among other things. Totti thinks the renovations would set you back about €30,000.
Is 30,000 about average, about what most people would spend, or does it vary between the houses?
Start from 10,000 to depends, 100,000, 200,000, depends the dimension of the house.
Many of the owners of these old houses have died, and the relatives who inherit them don't want them.
In Italy, if you have more than one house, you have to pay a lot of taxes because you are considered rich. And people here in Mussomeli, they prefer to leave the house for free and not paying the taxes.
Back in Totti's office, his inbox is groaning with inquiries. So many, it crashed his server. More than 300,000 people from around the world have emailed, including many from Australia.
We have 74,000 people from Australia that visited our website.
Normally, you can only come to Italy for 3 months at a time. If you want to stay longer, you'll have to tackle the Italian bureaucracy.
A lot of people ask us how to obtain visa, and we have some lawyer that give these services.
The scheme had to pause during COVID, but it's ramping back up now. They've sold 400 houses so far, and Totti expects to sell 100 more this year. Not all of them go for €1. You can spend a little more, around €15,000, and get something in better shape.
For us, it's important to repopulate our town with people from all parts of the world.
I think driving on these little streets would take some getting used to if you bought a house here.
These historic neighbourhoods are beautiful, but they're not exactly convenient.
Part of the problem here in Mussomeli and in other towns is that the locals that are here have moved out of these old parts of town, favouring some of the more modern areas where the homes are a bit easier.
While many locals prefer these new apartments on the outskirts of town, I'm about to meet someone who has fallen in love with the cobblestone streets at Mussomeli's heart.
Hello. You're Rebecca? Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me over.
You're welcome. So this is the €1 house.
This is it.
This is it.
What state was it in when you bought it?
Fully collapsed.
Right. That's quite the low starting point, right?
Rubia Daniels was among the first €1 house buyers in Mussomeli. She bought 3 and has been managing the renovations from her home in California.
How did you go fixing the roof?
I brought 5 suitcases with tools. I bought a generator, all from California. I flew my brother-in-law from Brazil. I hired local people, and I was like, we're doing this.
And that's the roof?
Yeah, and that's the sunlight coming through.
Oh, yes, okay. So that's the hole clear through.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is my new kitchen. It's one of those traditional Italian kitchens. Over here we have the bathroom, and I have shower tower, which gives me 5 different types of water, including waterfall.
What more can you ask for?
Hey.
Upstairs, it's still a construction site. Rubia plans to retire here.
I feel like the house is a living thing. I have feeling for the house. Everything that is done here is done purposely to bring the house back alive. It's amazing. I just love the house.
So is it the view that sold you on the house?
Definitely. The feeling of the street itself is almost like we stop and we're just back in history and past. It's just a gorgeous place.
And so what's it been like sort of managing this big project remotely?
People are reliable and capable to do the work. You just need to manage your expectations. You know, I don't have California expectations. After all, this is an island. They are in an island time, and this is Sicily.
Calogero Lanzalaco is a local builder working on Rubia's house.
Abbiamo un bel rapporto, abbiamo rispetto per queste persone e li trattiamo come amici, non come clienti, come amici.
He's been on the job for almost a year, but just met her for the first time this week.
Noi facciamo dei lavori e diamo aggiornamento tramite WhatsApp, tramite foto, tutta la procedura, aggiorniamo costantemente le persone, anche che sono fuori. Così loro sanno quello che facciamo e come lo facciamo.
The foreigners love these old houses, but sometimes their expectations need to be managed.
La cosa strana è che vogliono il massimo spendendo poco e a volte non è possibile visto le condizioni delle case, troppo vecchie, quindi a volte ce la prendiamo a ridere, però torniamo sempre sul discorso di sistemare le case nel modo più sicuro.
The One Euro scheme has created a boom for the local building industry. Today, Calogero is taking Rubia on a shopping expedition.
Sì. Questo è più bello.
Allora, questo lo vedo troppo scuro.
Troppo scuro, ok.
Secondo me è molto più bello.
Bello questo.
This tile shop has been in the same family for 3 generations.
C'è la vita siciliana dal punto di vista arabo e dal punto di vista spagnolo. Penso che sia un'iniziativa bellissima che qui da noi giornalmente viene 1 o 2 persone che hanno comprato già casa e che hanno intenzione di ristrutturarla.
Some of the locals are still sceptical.
Mussomeli sta morendo, è un'agonia lenta che i vecchi muoiono, giustamente la natura è questa, e i giovani se ne vanno perché lavoro non ce n'è e se ne vanno tutti i giovani. Quindi io non vedo una prospettiva futura e io penso che non si può rinascere solo con questo, ci vorrebbe altro.
The scale of the problem is really hard to ignore.
While parts of the town have got a new lease on life, there are still other areas, like this one, where hundreds of homes are still sitting empty and abandoned.
But many of the new arrivals are trying to help the town and do more than just fund a renovation. One of the best-known foreigners is Danny McCubbin. The Aussie expat worked in London on celebrity chef Jamie Oliver's community food projects.
I always pictured myself in Italy. I came to Mussomeli first in May 2019. I'd heard about the One Euro houses. I ended up buying a house that a lot of other foreigners bypassed, which I always just pictured would either be a community kitchen or a place that has social value for the town.
Danny got a refund on his €1 house when it was damaged by water pouring in from a derelict house next door. But he didn't leave, and he set up his community kitchen in the main piazza.
So the Good Kitchen is a communal space in the heart of the town here in Mussomeli, where we every week rescue food from the supermarkets, and then we use that food for good. So we deliver fresh food parcels to families. And today, being Sunday, we do a Sunday lunch. And that lunch is just for anyone.
There are about 20 food parcels to be delivered first to local families that are struggling.
I really think about each person, the food that I'm putting into that parcel for them.
I always like to give them a bit of joy.
The kitchen is staffed by volunteers, including local nonna, Kalodra Lanzalaco.
She teaches me how to cook Sicilian food. She is really the heart and soul of the Good Kitchen.
I think this is the woman you're speaking
It is.
about.
Kalodra, vini qua. Kalodra is, as I said, my right-hand person in the kitchen. She's incredible. The kitchen wouldn't exist without Kalodra. Io parlare bene per te.
Thank you.
Sì, you're welcome.
Sono un tipo chiuso, timido, ero. E quindi per me era difficile anche stare in mezzo alle persone, parlare, non ero disinvolta. Ora da quando ho conosciuto Danny, pian piano mi sono aperta, ho fatto tante conoscenze, tante amicizie e quindi ora non sono più casa e chiesa come si suol dire a Mussomeli. Ora sono casa e cugina qua.
This morning, Kalodra is heading out to deliver meals around town.
È un qualcosa che ti dà tanta soddisfazione perché ci sono persone sole che magari economicamente potrebbero permettersi di comprare il pasto, qualsiasi cosa. Queste persone aspettano proprio il momento che arrivi qualcuno per salutarle, per abbracciarle. Ecco qua. E quindi è bello anche per me.
Ecco qua.
Ecco qua, grazie.
Buon pranzo. Uno e due.
Ciao, amico. Come stai?
Back at the Good Kitchen, there's a growing army of hungry mouths to feed.
Because we've got a lot of kids today, every now and then we do like a healthy chicken nuggets, like a schnitty.
It's not just locals in need of a meal or some company. The Good Kitchen has also become a social hub for the growing community of €1 house buyers.
Grazie. Sunday lunch is incredibly important to Italians.
Thanks, Danny.
Prego. And it's just grown into these moments where you get, me as an Aussie to sit with my friend Vera from Ukraine, and then there might be somebody from Argentina or somebody from America who's come to board a house, and you just get this cross-pollination of breaking bread on a Sunday.
There's been people coming in and out all morning, locals, new arrivals. There is a real sense of community here. It's a classic Italian Sunday lunch, but with a bit of a twist.
The €1 house program has been fantastic for Mussomeli. It's been a catalyst. It really is almost like the hook that brings people to Mussomeli. I think now, though, this town has more to offer than a €1 house.
Danny's not the only one who came for a house and found a town in need. I'm meeting another foreigner who some people say has pulled off a miracle, battling Italy's notorious bureaucracy to help save the local hospital. Erica Moscatello's been in town for 2 years now, and she's mastered the warm Sicilian welcome. Erica's an Argentine with Italian roots. She opted to pay a little bit more for her house, but the place still needed work.
L'abbiamo ristrutturato tutta da capo, era una casa propriamente crollata. Musumeli ci ha attraversato propriamente perché abbiamo propriamente creduto in quello che noi pensavamo che era il modo di vivere siciliano, questo modo di vivere slow.
But after arriving, she was horrified to find out that the hospital was at risk of closing because of staff shortages.
Io non lo potevo credere. Io arrivo a vivere in una città dove non c'è un ospedale. Immagina, un bambino, cosa fai? C'è un'urgenza, cosa fai? Aveva due opzioni. Me ne vado o do una mano.
Erica came up with a scheme to bring in doctors from Argentina, where over half the population claim Italian heritage. But first, she had to take on the system.
Le ho detto al sindaco, Giuseppe, tu devi organizzare la questione legale. Tutti sappiamo che l'Italia è una burocrazia terrificante. E così abbiamo iniziato con questa crociata. Non c'era niente ed ora l'ospedale continua aperto con medici di altissima gamma, altissima qualità.
There are now 9 Argentine doctors working in Musumeli, including Luciano Verone.
Patients, when we visit them, they are crying because they were waiting for us. They were waiting for people who saved the hospital.
How did it feel getting that kind of a response from the patients?
I feel great because I think I'm helping people. That's why I was made for. So I really love it.
Erica has now helped place dozens of doctors in hospitals all over Italy. From her balcony overlooking the square, she believes Musumeli's revival is just beginning.
Ci sono più di 5.000 casse nel centro storico di Musumeli, così che il cambiamento vero si inizierà, penso, a guardare nel passo del tempo. Ma sì, si sta vedendo che si va avanti e noi abbiamo propriamente.
Musumeli isn't the only town in this part of Sicily that's selling houses on the cheap. I'm driving to the neighbouring town of Camarata. It's also selling €1 houses, but interestingly, it's not the local council that's running the scheme. It's actually a group of young professionals who moved overseas for work opportunities, but they've decided to come back to try to revive their town. Italy has one of the highest youth unemployment rates in Europe. Hundreds of thousands of young Italians have packed up and moved overseas for work. So I'm keen to meet this group that's bucking the trend.
Hi!
Hey!
Nice to meet you.
Martina Giracello and her fiancé, Gianluca, are running Camarata's €1 house scheme. They grew up here, but, like so many young people, after high school, they moved overseas.
We had a really nice and free childhood here. At some point, you have to leave town if you want to go to the university or if you want to have different experiences. But then I realized I like more my town, having this contact with the people here, something that I couldn't have in a huge city.
Martina's an architect and got a job at a local firm. Gianluca is a graphic designer.
Since I'm doing freelance stuff, I can work from wherever I want to. So
it was their parents' generation that abandoned Camarata's cramped and crumbling old town.
Young people decided to come back to the old town. They decided to renovate their grandparents' home and live there.
It mystifies some of the locals.
Io non la comprerei, non perché non mi piace il posto è meraviglioso, non c'è più nessuno, per cui magari ti ritroveresti con una casa ristrutturata senza che c'è nessuno nei dintorni.
The couple formed a not-for-profit called Street 2 with some other young locals. and took over management of Camarata's €1 scheme. Previously, the local council had been advertising the €1 houses?
Yeah, they started actually the project in 2014. But because there wasn't a good office taking care about the project, they couldn't manage it properly.
So what was it like when you first sort of took it over from the council?
Yeah, it's a funny story actually, because when we took the project from the municipality, they gave us what they had so far, and they had thousands of emails. But for some reason, they decided to print all the emails and give us the tons of papers with emails. And I filled my own cards with thousands of emails of people who wanted to buy the...
So what, just in the boot full of paper?
Yeah.
They're keen to find buyers who want to put down roots.
Basically, people that want to stay here and be part of the community. If you can stay more than the 2 weeks just for your vacation home, will be nice.
2 new arrivals here are already making inroads in this fledgling community. Christina and Stefan recently bought this €1 house through the Street 2 group.
And
did you look at a few places before deciding on this one?
yes, we look a few, but here the town is the best one.
What was it?
And the people in the town, they are too.
Yeah. Is that what sold you on Camarata? The people, the locals?
Yes, for sure.
You can be honest, it was the food.
No, there are many things. The people, the food, the city, the views, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And just the spirit.
Christina and Stefan are originally from Bulgaria. More recently, they've been living in the UK. They were in Sicily on holiday with their children when they decided to stay.
This is one of the reasons to choose.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reason. What an amazing view.
The life in UK is very stressful. Everything is about the money. And we were there for 7 years. We didn't make one friend. And here for 2 months, we have more than 10 new friends.
The family are renting while they renovate. Today, they're headed to the park for a play date with some local friends.
And our son, he's 8 years old, and he's in school here. And our daughter, she's 4 years old, and she's in kindergarten. And I think they like here the life. They can go outside when they want. Doesn't matter if I have work and I cannot go with them. They just, ciao, mamo. I'm going out, and say, okay, ciao.
Christina met Gloria through Street 2. Having kids of a similar age sealed the friendship. They muddle through in a mix of languages.
Cristina parla bene l'inglese e io capisco abbastanza bene, però loro devono imparare l'italiano se vogliono vivere qui, e quindi stiamo cercando di aiutarli anche nella comprensione dell'italiano. Sia un beneficio per tutta la nostra comunità il fatto che ci siano delle persone giovani di altre nazionalità che possano che si trasferiscano qui, con cui i miei figli possano condividere del tempo, e anche tutti gli altri abitanti.
Bravo!
Bravissima!
What's it like being part of this movement to revitalise the old town?
Oh, I'm very proud. And I already have some plans what we can do more for the city. And I'm very happy that I can help in this way.
I think a lot of people, when they go on vacation, daydream about moving to the place, but you actually did it. So how does the dream compare to reality?
For us, the dream is reality, and the reality is the dream.
These houses were deemed worthless, but it seems their value can't be so easily measured. I've found so much more than renovations here. People are building a community, a lifestyle, a shared hope for the future. The streets in the old neighbourhoods are still pretty quiet. But every now and then, life peeks through, perhaps a sign of things to come.